Here I'll be tying a nymph pattern I call a Sunburn pheasant tail. And what I have is an emerger hook. I think this is size 14. And some UTC dark brown. And I've started my thread an eye length behind the hook eye. And then what you do is you take some sulky sliver metallic, (6 inches should be enough. And then tie that in on the near side of the hook. And then bring your thread forward. And what I do here is I reorient the hook so that I can get better access to the back. And tie in the pheasant tail. And take about 4 or 5 pheasant tail fibers. And tie them in. And what I like to do is take a few loose wraps around the fibers and then pull on them until the tails are about, I'm going to redo that, I got out of alignment. So as I was saying, I'll pull on the tails until they're about a hook shank in length and take a few more wraps to secure that down. Then I'll fold the pheasant tail fibers back, take a few wraps, and then wrap towards the eye and then return the hook to its original position. Now what I do is I grab a hold of the sulky, and as I'm wrapping the pheasant tail forward, I'll take a wrap that crosses behind the sulky and then tie that, or put that back so it's out of the way, and then continue making wraps forward. And what wrapping the pheasant tail in this manner does is it helps to prevent the sulky from wanting to slip back down the shank. And you take the sulky and wrap it forward. I try to get about 4 or 5 wraps in on the body. And you can then cut that out once you've tied it down. And you can also trim out the excess pheasant tail. And take a few wraps to make a small base. And now what you want to do is take a mallard flank feather and get a good clump of fibers. You want to make sure they're all aligned. And then tie them in so the tips extend just a little way beyond the bend of the hook. And tie that down. You can then trim out the excess. And then next, you take a single peacock herl and tie that in by its tip. And then wrap it forward. And with this pattern, I don't really think it matters whether or not the iridescent side faces outward or not. And then what you do now is you take that mallard and pull it forward to create the wing case. Take a few good securing wraps. And what I'll do now is I'll take a red marker and color that wing case in. This is where I get the Sunburn part of the name. Then I'll just take a bit of head cement and coat the wing case. Might have to do this a few times depending on the brand of marker. This one isn't very good, so we'll have to do this multiple times to really get that color to show through. And then next, take the tips of the mallard, sort of fold them back and down as best you can. And then tie those back. You can then whip finish. Cut your thread, snip out any stray fibers. And there you go, a Sunburn pheasant tail. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.